What character of yours lived the longest, or who had the most anticlimactic death? Let us know in the comments below. Longest lived character that I played for 3 years from level 2 to 16, and then an eventual level 20 post-campaign one-shot. Most anticlimactic death was after another 2-ish years of playing at a table at level 13, finishing a boss fight that drained us of every resource we had, including the one revivify we had, and the paladin of our group inspecting an item during our long rest, which 1. Mind-controlled them, 2. Completely refunded and buffed every class feature they had, effectively making them akin to a level 20 character, and 3. Made them kill all of us in our sleep, ending the entire fucking world and the campaign with it. It was the single most ham-fisted, dumb fuck, why would you even include any of that, DM choice I've ever seen in all my years of playing TTRPGs. The longest, sorry if I pronounced this incorrectly, Lucia Sismar, a young homebrewed genie sorceress warlock tiefling woman still going strong today after 2 years IRL and about 8 months of adventuring time. Started as a level 1 warlock and is now Warlock 3 Sorceress 9. Anticlimactic, Damon Schumacher, a normal dude who got Deva touched and became a divine soul ASMR sorcerer charged with preventing an upcoming crisis. Got decapitated during the second session due to an extremely unlucky crit from a Goliath criminal. Started as level 1, ended as level 1. Played a ranger who became a horizon walker and was a rugged survivalist. Could always find food, outrun anything, including horses and dragons because he was immune to exhaustion and fatigue. Got caught between 2 mooks with axes who both critted. Went from full HP to negative con HP in a single round. Wasn't even a plot critical fight or important mooks. They didn't even have special minis. The longest I had is Jack Strider. He started off as an off-brand Jack Sparrow in a Pirates campaign that evolved into my own character. He ended up at level 15 in canon play, and his story as my character officially ended when he reached the Astral Sea, becoming the captain of the Astral Pirates. Now, in my and my best friend's games, he is the ruler of the Astral Sea, with even Gith respecting him. Now, the most anticlimactic was Elias Stormguard, a Goliath cleric who died to an absurdly lucky crow. Like, seriously lucky, I took several Nat 1 rolls. My character that lived the longest in the world setting was technically my Circle of Stars druid who became the demigod of the night sky in our campaign and who technically still lives on and popped up every once in a while in the future campaigns set in the same world. Mostly to guide the party and offer aid when needed. Now, my character that I played the longest was a Centaur Divine Soul Sorcerer who I played for a solid 3 years. The character that had the most anticlimactic death was my tiefling warlock who got critted by a young half-giant at level 2 during Princes of the Apocalypse, and he dealt double my max HP in one hit. So I instantly died and probably became paste at that point. That's kind of a difficult question to answer, really. My most recent elf and alcoholic drow wild mage was over 200 years old when the campaign ended, heading into wild space to hunt down the Lords of Madness once and for all. He might be the oldest still alive at campaign end, but back in 3.5 I had a wizard archivist mystic Theruge, basically an int-based prepared caster of wizard and cleric spells, ending up with huge tomes of arcane and divine spells of all kinds, who eventually came to the end of his natural life after a long, largely content life, and in his late 80s traveled to the central node of the planet's ley line network and let himself fall into it and be dissolved into the essence of magic itself. But over the decades, there have been so many characters, so many deaths. I must admit, I rather miss the feeling of lethality from earlier editions. My current rogue, Eowyn, has existed for over 5 years now with a session played every Sunday with probably 90% consistency. Well over 1,000 hours of table time. This whole campaign started as a silly homebrew go-crazy one-shot in the League of Legends universe. They were barely basic sanity checks given to all the homebrew brought into the table. Eowyn was essentially SO, an ancient, soul-bound suit of armor a la Alphonse Elric, who was as such for years until the PCs managed to jump through some hoops to acquire the aspects of her soul that were separated from her during creation. We thought we were giving her her memories and emotions back and helping me evolve beyond the relatively limited character growth an emotionless suit of armor can achieve. Instead, it resulted in a full, true resurrection, and this level 14-ish party of world heroes suddenly had a freaked-out teenage equivalent elf, an ancient original elf no less, basically stuck to the party like a duckling. So that was a crazy adjustment for everyone for a while, but extremely rewarding. The whole group is level 18 now, and just Sunday cleared 2 major bosses in one long rest and came very close to not making it. Now, the most anticlimactic death would have been in this same campaign and was technically a TPK at about level 16. We were in way over our heads in a major boss fight. I mean, we were getting thrashed. We had no option but to flee, and did manage to get away through a system of interconnected sunken ruins. By coincidence, we found the secret back way into the big bad evil guy's horde of goodies. Now, we were all single-digit HP. Do you think we, experienced players and adventurers, used our level 16 appropriate tools to teleport ourselves to safety and recover? Nope. We wanted to loot. And in a moment, everyone happened to be walking through the same area. Eowyn opened up a bag of holding that she found. It was filled with acid and rigged to spew it all. This was meant to be a silly har, gotcha, take 4d4 acid damage. But everyone failed their save, and even evasion wasn't enough for Eowyn. Instantly, everyone is rolling death saves. 2 of the 4 PCs fail their death saves, 2 succeed but are still unconscious. Those 2 were given a pity re-roll to fish for a nat 20 and actually managed to get one. And we just happened to have what we needed for 2 revivifies. There is one I've been playing for maybe a year or 2 IRL. With some major gaps, though, in world. They have technically lived over 500 years, as there was one 5-year time skip and another 500-year time skip for a scripted plot event followed by time rewinding. They were a species that would be able to survive 500 years, so they were canonically there for it, though likely taken out, most likely trapped or sealed in some way instead of killed, because first, they are really hard to kill, and second, some really bad stuff might happen if they do die, by the main antagonist of that event somewhat early. They were level 20, but in practice could likely fight a team of normal level 20s as long as he wasn't just wished out of existence, and the time rewinding was followed by a switch to a new system with a level cap of 80, with 4 allowed classes that each cap at 20. Before he was an artificer, now he was an inventor, enchanter, cleric, paladin, very focused on survivability and support. Inventor and Enchanter are 2 separate classes focused around enchanting magic items. Cleric and Paladin have a similar theme to the D&D 5th edition classes, but different mechanics. My longest running hero was a half-elf great old one Warlock. He had an int of 8 but a charisma of 20, true golden retriever energy. He survived through a series of dumb luck and folks taking an odd liking to him because he's just happy to be involved. We ended the campaign at level 12 because we had a fight with death itself, and through a bunch of RP, my Warlock had intentionally, unintentionally signed up to become Death. I gave my DM my backstory, but obviously gave him full control of my patron's plans. Apparently this was my patron's ultimate goal, to have Death as its champion. But he didn't realize he picked such a being to take up the mantle. To this day, my buddy who was the DM has led a lot of other games and has had my hero make appearances and help out the party, making my guy a constant being throughout his universe. He's one of my proudest creations. My longest lived character was a chaotic evil tiefling bard, Stiletto the Demon Jester. They used shadow magic and illusions and would opportunistically return to the people that the party had helped and would vent his alignment on them when it was just him and them. Theft, torture, murder, anything. Did they have us hunt down a family treasure? I returned to steal that family treasure, get rid of any witnesses, and sell it. He was such a nuisance that after the game ended, I made him a reoccurring character in my own games, an eternal demon jester that would just not stop torturing the party and the worlds. He's recently found himself in the Warhammer universe. I consider this a death because it killed the campaign. The character existed for a single session and was the result of a growing dissatisfaction between a few players and the DM, It was a drow elf noble merchant. I built the character to absolutely violate the dungeon master and the crafting rules. The DM let me use my starting gold for level to craft and start with those items. So, with the other player that I started with, since we knew each other in-game, I loaded us both out with horribly min-maxed gear that was loaded on with restrictions that made it incredibly cheap despite how strong it was. We basically dropped into the game, showed off a bunch of broken magical swag, and stood as a warning to the DM just how badly I intended to break her game if things didn't change. And even if I got kicked, I would break the other dissatisfied players' characters for them in the background. The character did not get more than a few lines in before the campaign was just shelved and discarded. As I am the forever DM of my group, I guess the longest NPC I played is the dragon god Bahamut. He was in the first and latest session of my campaign, which is over 5 years running at this point. For anticlimactic death, one of my players tried to DM for me and another player. We started level 1, and the first combat was us 2 PCs versus 3 wolves. I played a dwarf blood hunter with 12 HP and an AC of 17 at level 1. First turn of the round, the first wolf runs up to me and crits me for 8 damage. Second turn, the next one comes up and also crits me for another 6 damage. Then, I failed a death save with a nat 1, and after that, the third wolf killed me. I took that as a sign and just made a new NPC on the spot. That game fizzled out after some more sessions because my player decided DMing is just not for him. So yeah, that was that. Longest was a human champion fighter Gloomstalker Ranger multiclass. Played him for about 3 years, and technically he's still alive. He got a ride off into the sunset finale with one of the archvillain's moms as his bride-to-be when I had to move out of the state. Lamest death was a reborn soul knife rogue. He just kept dying, like repeatedly. Week after week he'd fall in combat. When the game started, it was really fun. A lot of RP and puzzles and things that advanced the plot, but it kept moving to more of a combat-heavy campaign with a Monster of the Week vibe. But also, it kept me feeling like my rogue was being targeted specifically. The combats just kept happening to be in wide open spaces with no cover or places to hide, monsters and enemies that were immune or resistant to psychic damage. And if you know, rogues tend to be squishy. But after being down the last time in a random Monster of the Week encounter and being targeted while down, I was outright killed before even getting the chance to make death saves. I just said, nah, whatever, don't pay for the revivify, let him stay dead, and rolled a new character, a Goliath Paladin. I played him for like 3 or 4 weeks before I left the campaign altogether because I just wasn't having fun anymore. Hey everybody, Brian Von VA here, or Doppelganger, checking in after the vid. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, ring that bell, and of course let us know in the comments below what was your longest lived character and who had the most anticlimactic death. And of course, if you ever want to support the channel, you can do so by joining our membership program. You get early access to videos, and we get to keep making videos for you, because we all know how YouTube loves everyone here. That said, we love all of you here, boys, girls, and anyone and everyone in between. Please be safe, be happy. We'll see you next time. Toodaloo.